It's time to talk about my VFL team and what I'm going to do for it for week 2. Here is the team. Mitch, ado about something. 194 points is what I am on. So that ultimately ended with me in 26th position. Congratulations if you are watching this and you are above me. Then you've done a pretty good job, I would say, because there's not many people above me, and I know I made this game, but still, I think that's a pretty good score overall. So let's first week 1 review. How did things go? So something pretty good. Primmy, not thrilled that he's not playing Duelist. Probably isn't worth the price of 13, to be honest. I think if you've got Primmy and you've got the rest of your team that you like, you could get rid of Primmy. There probably will be better options, I think, overall. But they do play DFM this week. We'll get into that in a second. Mitch did okay against Furia. It is what it is. Munchkin, pretty happy with overall. Forsaken, even though they didn't win both games. Forsaken wasn't my best choice of IGL. Could have gone with either something or Primmy and done a little bit better, but not too bad overall. Foxy9, getting a 15-pointer. Again, a little underwhelming from Foxy9, I'd say, overall. Killua did fine, 20 points, happy with that. Persian 19, happy with that. Envy as well, also pretty underwhelming, especially considering if you would have told me that Secret were going 1-1, I would have taken that. I would have taken that and felt like, okay, Envy should get, up there with, the likes of Persia and whatnot in terms of points. And then obviously the 2 bench players who will be staying there probably. Now, when looking at my team for week 2 and what I want to do for week 2, essentially I've got 3 pairs of players, right? I've got pair of Paper Rex, pair of Genji, pair of Talon players. If we take a look at the fixtures for those teams, they're actually all pretty favorable, right? Genji play against Global, Talon play against DFM, and where are Paper Rex? Paper Rex play against Boom. So all of them are fairly favorable matchups, so I don't really have... Again, you could get rid of Primmy, right? Like, that is an option potentially if you want. Let's just quickly take a look, actually, at players who cost 13, shall we? Like, who is up there? I could get a Kiko. Actually, that's actually... Now that I see Kiko on there, man, that is a bit tempting, isn't it? Instead of Primmy. That is a bit tempting. The thing is that I was almost certain I was going to do was get rid of Envy and Persia before I saw that. And getting rid... Well, he isn't a duelist slot, actually. But I guess I could put Kiko down here and get a different duelist, which would also be fine, right? I'm almost certainly getting rid of Envy. It would be Persia who I would maybe keep. Nongshim play against DRX, I think. Do they? Maybe they don't. Who do they play against? They play against RRQ. Could Nongshim beat RRQ? Yes. Yes, they could. Persia against RRQ. But Primmy is playing DFM. I can't do it. If it wasn't DFM, if it was, if it was Global or even Secret, right? Or, some team that I had a bit more faith in overall, I suppose, then maybe I could do it. But I think DFM, I think I have to stick with Primmy and stick with my initial plan, which is get rid of Envy and Persia for 2 other players. Now, these 2 are in wildcard slots, so I can go anywhere. Right, so I have a lot of choice available to me when getting rid of these 2 players. Because again, Mitch here, who did Cloud9 play in this week? Cloud9 play against EG. They could lose that game, but I'm, trusting Cloud9 should be favored there, so I'm keeping Mitch. So we've got Envy and Persia to get rid of. That's going to give us 17.5 overall. In terms of players that you want to go for. Now, here's the thing, right? There is one kind of player who is way better than their price, and that is Kess, right? The reason that Kess only costs 6.5, of course, is because I didn't know he was replacing Boostio, so he had to cost the same as Boostio, essentially. I mean, we could have made it a new player, but that doesn't really feel in the spirit of the game necessarily. So Kess essentially is just this super cheap option, and maybe 100 Thieves, won't be that good. If you take a look at 100 Thieves and like their fixtures this week, 100 Thieves play against Crew, right? That I don't know who you would favor in that game. Some people might say 100 Thieves, some people might say Crew. Pretty close, right? No guarantee of a win. And they are in that group, with Loud. They've just beat NRG, but, they've got Lev, they've got MIBR. There's no guarantee that 100 Thieves, win a lot more games, right? They did play very well against NRG, but there's no guarantee that they will carry on that way. So I think it's interesting whether you should get Kess or not. I think overall 100 Thieves did show enough to where I think just the price is just so good that I really am tempted to do it. And if I do that, that will then give me 11 to spend. So if we think we go Persia down 1 million to 6.5, that gives me Kess. And then we've got 11 to spend here. And when you're looking at players, again, who cost 11, in terms of the price here, you've got some good options, right? Chronicle. Fnatic are probably going to win most, if not all of their games. That's going to be good, right? You've got potential. I wouldn't really consider Verno. Wouldn't really consider Dambi. But Sato popping off. Dante, if you believe in a bounce back. But Luxo, like, Luxo could go crazy, right? And then even there, I mean, I can't pick up Paper X players, but, you know, even someone like Benji Fishy or one of the 2 Sentinel players as well, right? Because here's the thing. From now on, the Sen players, it's looking really, really good, right? Like, again, if we take a look at the Sen have just played G2, right? So in their group now, I mean, this week they play Furia. Then in game week 3, they've got, who have they got in week 3? Cloud9 is perhaps their tough game. And then what? They've got 2G and EG, the other 2 games. So for the Sen players, you know, narrate. I've gone on roll Sentinels rather than the team Sentinels. For narrate and bang, like, as 2 options that I could potentially get. You know, that is tempting. It is very tempting. You know, for a team that should from now on probably win 4 games. That feels tough to turn down potentially. But then also, well, the other option, let me give you the other. Let's say I don't pick up Kess, right? The other option, and my initial option before I saw Kess play, was going in for Calming Core, which was another team that I talked about being pretty good, and Aves popping off. But even if it's not Aves, going maybe even Sugetsu, right? Again, Calming Core just played probably their hardest game in Fnatic, so they're a team that I think you want to be indexing into, you know, at this point. And I could go for, you know, someone like Aves that gives me 9 to spend on someone else, right? Again, if we just come price range down to 9 here, take a look at it. You know, I mean, I could even go double KC, right? I could go Aves Sugetsu and just fully go in on KC and hope that those 2 pop off. Like, again, that doesn't seem like that bad of an option, right? When you consider KC play Apex this week. That's big points right there. Because that's the thing. If you go in KC after this week, you've missed their Apex game. So it's not really worth it, right? But that's potential big points. KC against Apex. They then play Koi. They then play against... Who's next? Na'Vi. Right? It's not until week 5 that they play against Liquid that you might be like, ooh, I'm not sure if they'll win that game. But that's week 5 and there won't be any Pacific players in the game. So your options will be more limited, right? Because the Pacific players aren't playing. So, you know, you'll probably end up in week 5 with some players that, you know, don't necessarily have the best games. Just because, you know, your options are more limited in that week anyway. So that I mean, again, like, this one I think is tough for me. I know who I'm getting rid of. It's just where am I going with that, right? So my choices are basically Kess plus either a Sen player and Luxo or double KC potentially, right? Double KC and lean in, or even, you know, certain players like Pancada, you know, potentially if you believe in that, or even EU again if you believe in 100 Thieves, or Crew as well, right? So options are available. And I think it's very tough. I think it is tough right here. I think the more fun option and the one that I kind of want to go for is the Kess version. And it's maybe even taking a bigger risk than that. I think of going for Kess. So again, if we get rid of Persia here, so by team 100 Thieves, bring in Kess. And then for my second transfer, you know, with a whole 1 extra to spend, like, I do think if you look at these players who cost 11, going Chronicle, that's a safe option. It's a nice option. Sato kind of popped off at times, but what about Luxo? Luxo has literally not played a bad game. And here's the thing, I don't think that Loud will win every game, right? They play NRG this week, though. right? Which what we saw from NRG in week 1 might actually be a game that they should win. Luxo doesn't have bad games, and I think Loud are gonna be good enough from what they showed in week 1 to at least get to map 3. And really, when you're looking at players like Luxo who are gonna frag a lot, like, getting to map 3 is good because they're often going to get, you know, 20 kills. Right? Luxo is a player who will often get 20 kills and you know, get that 3 rather than the +2 for winning 2-0. Right? Maybe this is Shio getting into my head and saying, you know, Loud are gonna go to champs. But Luxo is a guaranteed fragger. He just feels like a guaranteed fragger. And he often gets an extremely high rating as well. Maybe that's just the way he plays, like the rating favors the way he plays. I'm not sure. But I really, even though I don't trust the team that much, I trust the player. He's played 4 games and he's gone crazy in all of them. He's often getting, you know, top rating. He's getting bonus points from rating. You see he got 15 in his first game there. The team potentially has the ability to win games. I'm convincing myself. I could just play it safe. Could just go with the Sen players. But it feels like the ceiling, even though I know Sen are going to win. Right? Sen will win games. They will. And Loud might not win every game. They won't win every game. But the ceiling is just so much higher with this guy. The ceiling's just too high. I'm doing it. This is a risk. You know, I said I wouldn't go into that group. I said I would not get players from that group because I don't know who's going to win the games. But thinking about it now, I like the look of that team. That's a good looking team. Next week we can, you know, get rid of Primi and get rid of Killua, you know, and start looking at other options there. But right now, I think this is the way I'm going. And yeah, that was a tough choice, but that is my team. That is my team. Luxo, Killua. Now, in terms of IGLing, because that's a decision as well now, right? And again, this one isn't as easy, I would say. The safe option, again, Genji play against Global. Don't love Foxy, not much good for that. Paper Rex play against Boom. Could just stick it on Forsaken. I think it's probably between Forsaken and Primi against DFM. It's probably between those two. Not 100% sure. I do also need to change this name, don't I? Because that's one word. It needs to be that instead. Yeah, confirm those changes. And then IGL. Oh man, Primi against DFM or Forsaken against Boom. I'm going to stick with Forsaken, I think. I think if Primi was playing Duelist, I would put it on Primi. I think I'm going to stick with Forsaken for now. Let me know what you would do. Did I make the right choice? Is Luxo the correct pick here for me? Is this the correct way of playing this? Let me know what you would have done in the comments down below. That was a fun one. That one I really had to decide something, which was really cool. Yeah, and let's hope that my team will carry on and Mitch do about something. We'll carry on into the sunset and win me this game.